March is soon coming to a close. With that comes April. Today, we will be discussing sneakers to resell in the month of April. If you're not into reselling, that's okay as well. You could use this guide to know what are going to be the most hype sneakers, the most limited, or even what popular general releases may potentially go on sale because, hey, we're all trying to save some money. We'll be discussing the name of the sneaker, the retail, the release date, and whether the sneaker will be profitable or not, or if they may even sit on shelves, resulting in a sale price. Feel free to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you stay 100% updated on all these profitable releases. Also, be sure to follow my Twitter for urgent updates and info, KeithAdam10, and also personals for you, such as the recent shock drops we have seen. And for early information, before these drops actually occur, make sure to follow Endurance. Kicking it off with the first for $190, the Jordan 11 Low Cement Gray will be dropping. Like most recent Jordan 11 Lows, I'd expect these to be personals, especially since pre-sale is already quite close to retail. More importantly, on the first though, for $225 after many years, we will finally be seeing the return of the highly coveted Jordan 5 Tokyo. Of course, you could expect this pair to be extremely profitable with an incredible April Fools. Actually, the Reebok Beatnik will be dropping on April 1st for $100, personal only. Actually, we have a good drop on the first, and that is the Ja 1 Day 1, which will be dropping for $110. Considering how well the prior two Ja 1s did, and his popularity only rapidly growing, combined with an amazing low retail of $110, I'd have to expect these to be profitable with a good to very good margin, with larger sizes being the best. This is a good sleeper cook, make sure you don't forget about these. Also on the first for $170, the Zoom GT Cut 2 Pearl Pink will be dropping. Like the majority of recent GT Cut 2s, I'd expect these to just be personals. Moving on to the fourth for $120, the Dunk Low ATL will be dropping. Demand isn't extremely high at the moment, but it does seem like there is sufficient demand for lunch money with a poor margin on large sizes, but nothing very notable. Also on the fourth for $130, the Air Force 1 ATL will be dropping. Unfortunately, there's hardly any demand for these, so personal only. Also on the fourth for $115, the Dunk Mid Coconut Milk will be dropping. Unfortunately, like most Dunk Mids, there's hardly any demand on these, so personal only. Also on the fourth for $225, the Jordan 6 Low Golf Cherry will be dropping. Like all recent Jordan 6 Golfs, I'd have to say personal only for these. And lastly for the fourth for $125, the Jordan 5 Low Grade School White Desert Berry will be dropping. Like most Jordan 5 Lows, personal only for these. And you might even be able to grab some personals for your kids on sale if you're patient. Then on the 5th, we will finally be seeing the Off-White Futura Dunk Low in orange and blue release. Well, like I told you guys a long time ago, these actually were never supposed to be a public release, and unfortunately it does seem like that is still true, because these will be releasing through a charity auction. And it's only 8 pairs. You can see on their site, they estimate that the shoes will likely sell for $2,000 to $4,000. I'm not going to make any prediction regarding what range is profitable to buy at or not, but what I will say is that there is a possibility that you might be able to write off these from your taxes as a charity contribution. So, moving on from those, then on the 6th for $120, the Dunk Low Women's Pink Foam will be dropping. Unfortunately, these are already about retail, so I'd have to say mostly just personals for these as well. Also on the 6th for $125, the Dunk High Wheat Gold Canvas will be dropping. Like most recent Dunk Highs, I'd have to say personal only for these two, unfortunately. And lastly, on the 6th for $200, the Jordan 3 Women's Lucky Green will be dropping. While pre-sale is currently very high on these, demand does not look too great. Like most Jordan 3s, aside from the recent White Cement Reimagined, I'd mostly expect these to be personals unless you have no tax and you are okay with still a poor margin on the largest sizes or have local buyers. I'd expect a performance slightly worse than what we saw on the Jordan 3 Cardinal. Then on the 7th for $240, the Foamposite Penny Hardaway Player Edition is finally going to have a public release. Now, had this been many years ago, these would have had insane demand. At the moment though, pre-sale is already close to retail, so I would have to say unfortunately personal only. Also on the 7th for $180, Sneakers Europe will be having their delayed release of the Jordan 1 Skyline. Unfortunately, these are already under retail in the secondary market, so obviously personal only, and you could save some money if you do want a personal. Then on the 8th for $150, the Jordan 2 Low Craft Atmosphere will be dropping. Like most Jordan 2 Lows, demand is just nowhere to be found, so I'd have to say personal only, and you might even be able to grab them for below retail in the secondary market if you're patient. Moving on to the 10th for $120, the the Dunk Low Setsubun will be dropping. Demand looks decent for these at the moment, for large sizes at least, hence I would expect large sizes to be profitable with a subpar to decent margin, and other sizes to potentially be lunch money with a poor margin if you have no tax. Moving on to the 14th for $150, the Air Max 1 White Mika Green will be dropping. While Air Max hype has been increasing lately, demand on these doesn't seem sufficient for profitability, but don't sleep if you do want a personal, as I'd still expect them to sell out, just personals only. Then on the 15th for $180, the Jordan 1 Lucky Green will be dropping. Initially, I said that these would likely play out like the Jordan 1 Yellow Toe, and I still think that will mostly be the case, but if anything, I could see them doing just slightly better, given that they have a white toe box rather than it being colored. At the moment, demand looks pretty solid, so I would expect potential lunch money with a poor to subpar margin on large sizes, 10 and up, and even more if you have no tax or local buyers. So, not the best release, but certainly one of the better Jordan 1s that we have seen in a while. Not to mention, these look awesome. I'm hoping to grab a personal on my size. Let me know how you guys feel about these though. Then on the 17th for $180, we'll finally be seeing another Zoom Vapor AJ3, this time in the Racer Blue colorway. Now, if you look at the prior pairs, you'll see that they're doing well, but initially, the recent two pairs were not profitable, contrary to the black and white cement pairs. Furthermore, it appears Roger Federer's initials are no longer on the midsole. That's only going to hinder demand, and I have no idea why this is. For that reason, I'd say as of now, these are just personals. But best case scenario, maybe demand looks good before the release, and I'll update you guys in the April sneaker releases part 2 video, so make sure you subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you're always 100% updated on these or any hype sneaker. And also, be sure to follow my Twitter for urgent info like shock drops, Keith Adam 10. Moving on to the 20th for $130, the Run Jewels SB Dunk Low will be dropping for $130. Demand is looking really solid for these, so despite the elevated retail, I'd still expect them to be profitable with a good to very good margin. The highs will also be dropping on the 20th for $140. Of course, demand is lower on the highs, plus a higher retail, so I'd expect these to mostly be personals, unless you have good local buyers or no tax, and you're still okay with a poor margin still. Then, on the 22nd for $180, the Jordan 1 Washed Pink will be dropping. Like many recent Jordan 1s, I'd expect these to mostly just be personals, unless you do have no tax in your state, and you're okay with a very poor margin, or you have local buyers. Also, on the 22nd for $200, Jordan 13 Black Flint will be dropping. Demand actually looks pretty solid for a 13, but like most Jordan 13s, I would still expect these to just be personals unless you do have good local buyers. Jumping to the 26th for $150, the highly anticipated Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Women's Olive will finally be dropping. Of course, demand is extremely high on these, and stock will be low like all Travis Jordan 1s. Expect these to be extremely profitable with an incredible margin, full throttle. Furthermore, the preschool and toddler pairs will be dropping for $60 and $50 respectively, and like the prior pairs of Travis, I would even expect these to be profitable with a good to very good margin, but you may need to be patient with selling because volume does tend to be lower when it comes to these sizes. Just a heads up, I already did make a how to cop guide for these, so I'll link that at the end of the video if you want to give it a watch so you can know how you could get your hands on these. Then on the 28th for $180, the delayed Air Force 1 Mid Off-White Pine Green will finally be dropping after multiple delays. Despite these being off-white Air Force 1s, demand isn't too crazy for them, and pre-sale in some sizes is already quite low too. Nonetheless, it does seem sufficient for some profitability, but with a subpar to decent margin. Unfortunately, the spikes are really hurting the demand on these. Then, on the 29th for $210, the Jordan 3 Wizards should be dropping. Like the Lucky Green Jordan 3 we just discussed earlier, I'm not expecting very notable demand on these. Not to mention, retail is $10 higher, so I'd say these are mostly just personals unless you have no tax in your state and have local buyers. Then, for a release without a precise date that is supposed to drop sometime in April for $110, we have the SB Dunk Low Midnight Navy Desert Ore. Despite them being an SB, I'm not expecting demand to hold up well for these, so best case scenario, maybe potential for lunch money with a poor margin on large sizes, but otherwise, mostly just personals. Of course, as usual, many more drops will pop up throughout the month, and I'll be keeping you guys updated on all those. Anyway, that will conclude it for today. You can feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or maybe if you learned a thing or two. Subscribe to stay 100% updated on all these profitable sneakers. Also, be sure to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies from Kit Proxies, or you can also feel free to join EDOs for free with the free trial link below. Furthermore, feel free to follow Endurance's Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways, and the same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up with progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow KeithAdam10 and Personals for You. This way, you guys stay updated on all urgent info like I was going over today. With that, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and of course, good luck on all these releases.